I'm Brian Van from SportBikeTrackGear.com. Today we're going to install Graves Smog block-off plates on our 2014 STG Yamaha FZ-09 Project Bike. Part kit is simple and it is cheap. Nicely machined block-off plates, and it's going to come with one nipple that's going to plug off one of the outlets on the airbox, right, that we're going to be removing a hose from. So there's not a whole lot of parts here, but I will promise you there is a lot of work. The good news with Graves is this: we have great instructions, tons of photos. They've laid it all out for you. At the end of the day, this job is going to be completed with just some pretty standard hand tools. There's nothing really out of the ordinary that you need. I will say there's a lot of disassembly and reassembly involved in this. The gas tank, the airbox, which can be kind of tricky. The bike's naked and that helps a lot because we don't have any body work to deal with in between, but still, this project has a higher level of difficulty than a lot of the other stuff we've tackled so far with the FZ. We're going to open up by telling you why we're doing this. That air injection system, right, works great with a stock exhaust. We've put the aftermarket full system on from Graves. We've also had installed the M4 slip-on, which eliminates the catalyst. Either one of those, when you do that, you're going to get a lot of popping and farting on diesel, right? As it's injecting the air in there, you've got issues with unburned fuel, all kinds of stuff. So eliminating that now is going to get rid of some of those problems, and it will also really help if you're going to use, say, like a dyno jet with an auto tune, or if you're going to use a Bazzaz with their Z-Fan, right, their self-mapping system. You really need to get rid of that. You can't have that on there if you're going to use any of the self-mapping kits that are out there. There's the reasons why. Let's start. Number one, remove the seat. Easy enough. I'm sure all you FZ owners already know where that's at. Let's get the key underneath the seat. Release it, pull up, pull back. That is bar none the easiest part of this job. Step one. Step two. It wants us to remove this front cover from the gas tank. Got push pins up here. Get in there and release those real quick. Wiggle them around so we can get them to pop out of there. Do that on both sides. Save all this because we're going to be reinstalling all of the stock hardware. We will eliminate some pieces from the motorcycle, but those are going to be the air injection system, nothing else. Everything else is going to need to be reused. There's two more down here that we need to get that and push in. Pull out. There it is. Go off to the side. Come over here. Push in, and that's going to allow us to get this cover off and out of the way. Next up, we need to remove the rear Allen bolts and the two pop rivets from the inside of the front air scoops. Okay, let's look for the pop rivets. They are inside there. Okay, next up we need to remove the air inlet covers from both sides. The process is going to be the same on each side, so we're just going to show you the brake side, the right side of the bike. Let's remove this 4mm Allen. There are two push pins on the inside here. Get in there and compress the tab. Pull it out a little bit so you can grab it. Should save all your hardware, obviously. Okay, now you'll note the cover is still held up. Okay, there is a locator tab that goes through the rubber grommet right here. And there's the grommet. So you're going to need to give it a little bit of a tug to get it off. Don't be afraid to do it. Kind of grab it in the center of it, pull it off, and it'll come right out. Okay, now we're ready to begin removing the fuel tank from the motorcycle. The first thing that you're going to want to do is get up here towards the front of the tank and you've got this rubber guard, this trim that's slid over the tank. And go ahead and slide that off the edge like so. The other portion of the air inlet that's hooked to this is going to remain attached to it. Okay, so just get that out of the way. Now we have 4 fasteners that we need to get off. Take off just the Allen heads. The hex heads are going to remain in place. We've got 1 fastener on the right front and 1 on the left front, and then we have 2 at the back. These are all 4mm Allen heads. Once again, make sure you keep all the hardware under the back. Grab these 2. Once we get the tank up, we're going to have to deal with the fuel line, the connectors for the fuel pump, and there will be some vent hoses as well that are attached to it that we're going to have to disconnect before we get it out of the way. It's a good idea to have a rag handy when you're doing that, when you unplug the line, so if there's any fuel remaining in the line, the rag will catch it. All the fasteners are out, okay? I want to do a couple of things here. I've got some rags, so when I unplug the fuel line, if there's any fuel that's residual inside the line, it'll catch that as it's dripping out. I also got a couple old fender covers, right? It's a naked bike, and when I'm moving the tank around, I don't want to scratch anything up, so I'm going to actually put those underneath the tank here in the back, subframe area. Just want to kind of protect everything as good as I can. And then we're going to do this up front too, just over the handlebars. You can see the front edge of that tank kind of getting in there, getting scratched up or scratching the handlebars. So we're going to do that. Now we need to hold the tank back. Still watching our handlebars. Okay, and let's see, this is what we've got to work with here. We've got a couple of vent lines, we've got our fuel line, and we have 1 electrical connector to the fuel pump. Remember, no need to drain the tank. Even if you have gas in the tank, you're still okay. It's not just going to drain itself if the fuel pump's not running. So we're going to be good to go. To disconnect these 2 vent hoses, you can use pliers if you prefer. I'm going to compress those by hand and pull them off. Now I'm going to switch sides and come to the other side of the motorcycle to disconnect the fuel line as well as that electrical connector. And I'm going to show you a specialty tool that I have that makes removing pressured fuel lines super easy. I'm going to also date myself a little bit when I tell you what this is. Lift the tank up like so, kind of lean it on the airbox like that. This tank has a safety latch on it. Go ahead and disengage that. And I'm going to pull out my fuel line removal tool. This is actually meant to release the retainer clip on window cranks on really old cars. Okay, that's how old I'm getting. So we're going to go ahead and use this to get in here, and you'll watch that it just grabs that just perfect, right, to depress those tanks. And I pull it off. We've got no fuel spillage, perfect. Wish I knew where to tell you to go and buy that, but that's something I've had for a long time. Go ahead and push in the electrical connector, and our tank is on. Okay, now it's time to remove the airbox. Once again, we're sticking with their instructions. First thing we want to do is unplug the ECU that's located right here on top of the airbox. And reach in here and get the retainer, right, the lock, and disengage it. If there is any one single connector on a motorcycle or a car you do not want to screw up, trust me when I tell you, it's this one. Look at how many pins are in that. Make sure you have it disengaged properly before you really try yanking it off. And push the ECU out just a little bit too to help you get your finger in there for this plug. You feel a push in. Actually, I heard it disengage. Just a little push here. Slide the ECU right back in. No need to pull the airbox apart, right? We just need to remove it from the motorcycle. Next step, 5mm T-handle. We have 3 fasteners, one on the right, one on the left, and one up here in the front. Remove that. I'll actually save all these parts. I hate to say this. I mean, normally I just throw this stuff out, but what if the winner lives in California or something? They have to put this stuff back on. So we're going to remove the fasteners. Now we'll be able to pull up on the airbox. Loosen up the clamps, throttle bodies. What I'm using here is I have a 1/4 inch drive nut driver. I've got a universal and then a 4mm Allen bit. You could probably get in there if you had like a Allen wrench with a ball on the end, but honestly this is going to be the easiest way. Let's get in there and loosen that up. That's the vent hose from the fuel tank. Get that out of the way. Look at how narrow this frame is with this 3-cylinder. Really cool. Get them on the center. You don't need to take the bolts out, you just loosen them up enough so you can slide the tubes off of the throttle bodies. Grab this one. Now we'll be able to give the airbox a tug. Off the throttle bodies. Feel it's binding here on the left side more. There is a air injection hose here. Go ahead and disconnect that. It's going to allow us to really get the airbox up now. And you see right here, here's another hose. This is the breather hose. Go ahead and release that clamp like so. Grab the hose, pull it off, and off is the airbox. Now when we look down inside there, here is our air injection solenoid, and there are the plates right there, so we're getting close now. Okay, now we're ready to remove the air injection solenoid and the hoses. It's pretty straightforward to do this. First thing we're going to do is unplug the solenoid itself. It actually just slides away like that. Now it's held in place by the hoses. I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers to release the clamps on both sides. I can get this one pull up. Yeah, hoses come right up. I love working on brand new bikes. I got the hose on the other side. This stuff will all be discarded. None of this is going to be reused. So this is slide right out like that. Lose just a little bit of weight off the motorcycle too. Now, what we need to do is we need to loosen up the horn up front as well as the radiator mount on the left side. We just want to get a little more access to these fasteners here, okay? So we're going to begin with the horn. Just a 10mm fastener up here. We're actually just going to let it kind of hang. We don't want to have happen as the radiator push into it. Go ahead and get that out of the way. It's hanging without a problem. Got a 5mm bolt here. You have the radiator mount. Left side, we're going to take that out. It should get us some room to get those fasteners off. Smog injection plates here. Push forward quite nicely. I think I may take it even one step further. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get in here. Get this right one off too. Just give myself a ton of room. It'll make it easier for you guys to be able to see what we're up to in here. This bolt's pretty available. Accessible. We have all the radiator hoses attached and intact. We don't want to do anything that change any of that. I want to open the cooling system for this job, it's not necessary. Okay. Oh yeah. That really opens that up nicely. When we come back, we're going to be removing the stock fasteners from the block offs and pull the air injection plates out. We're going to install the Graves block off plates. Okay, now we're ready to begin removing the air injection plates, the stock plates from the motorcycle. I really think loosening up the radiator on both sides really got us a lot of extra room. So I'm going to be able to get in here with a 1/4 inch drive ratchet with a 5mm Allen bit in there. It takes a little bit of pull on these things. The stock fasteners are in there with some thread locker. And being able to get that ratchet in there makes life a whole lot easier. This would be a pain in the butt with a T-handle. There's pressure on it. We're going to remove both of the stock plates, and then we will install the Graves block off plates. I'll walk you through the first one here and just give you an idea of what to expect behind this. I think watching you unthread all this might be a little bit like watching paint dry. The radiator forward there. And remember, if you're not comfortable doing this job, take it to a licensed bike mechanic, have them do it. The last thing you want to do is screw up your motorcycle. Pop this plate off, like so. That's what we're discarding. And this is what we're replacing it with. And what they said on the instructions is they actually want the G, right, facing the radiator, like so. They also recommended some blue Loctite here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You'll notice all we removed was just that air injection plate, nothing else. Everything else stays in place. Put that fastener in there. Thread locker on this one. I have actually seen air injection plates installed incorrectly before. Let's just say the motorcycle made a very unique noise. So take your time and do it right. Now all I need to do is run these down and apply nice even torque to both sides. We'll be reusing the stock fasteners. After I'm done with that, I'm going to install the larger plate on the right side. We'll come back and give you a look at our finished product with both of them. All right, we've got the block off plates. Our on, everything's good. Come on over, I'm going to show you that. Got the connector secured out of the way, like so. Actually even pointed it down so it wouldn't collect any road debris. I snugged up the radiator this time. Put the horn bolt back in, obviously, before we ride it. Just want to give you a good close look here at what the plates look like when they're installed. Everything went together perfectly. It also comes with a nipple to plug the air injection hose inlet on the left side of the airbox. The clamp doesn't fit on there, so I used a little bit of safety wire, twisted it up, we're going to be good to go. Okay, we've obviously had throttle bodies opened up. The plates have never opened up because they can't, it's mechanical, all right? I'm sorry, it's electronically assisted, and the ignition has not been on. So you want to make sure there's no debris on top of those plates. If you have access to air, just blow it out, just to make sure you're not dropping anything in your motor, because trust me when I tell you, you don't want to do that. Okay, airbox back on. First thing we need to do, once we get it in position, is we need to bring up that breather inlet. And let's grab pliers, bring the clamp up, drop this bad boy down in place, hook up our ECU, and then we'll be ready to reinstall the gas tank. Realistically, you know, I don't know that showing you a lot of the reassembly is going to be all that critical. At the end of the day, what you need to do is follow the same steps and procedures that we used during the disassembly, okay? For the reassembly, make sure you don't have any pieces left over. It's probably a good pointer. Let's go ahead and get the airbox down on the throttle bodies. It's a pretty important step here. I want to make sure that when you get that on there, you take a look at your throttle bodies and make sure the boots are all the way down on top of the throttle bodies and you have no issues there. Connectors for the ECU. Let's make sure those bad boys, you hear them click in place, like so. All right, now I'm gonna get the fasteners back in the airbox and get the gas tank over here. I'm gonna hook this thing up and we're gonna button our project. Okay, we're done. I've got the bike all put back together. Remember, like I said, just retrace the disassembly steps and that's gonna get you right back together without any issues. End of the day, we've replaced all this with 2 aluminum plates on top of the valve cover, and we've capped off the fresh air intake for this system with the supplied plug. Remember, what this is going to do is this is going to eliminate the introduction of the air being injected into the system. What it's going to do primarily, right, the biggest thing you're going to notice as the rider is on decel, you lose all that popping and farting. I've already warmed the bike up, okay? The motor's already warm. Previous to that, when you decelerated, let off the throttle, you get a couple of pops, some unburned fuel exploding, some sweet flames. That's gone, that's all cleaned up. And pretty soon we're gonna be putting either a Bazaz on this or a dyno jet with an auto tune, and that will finish the entire exhaust, air injection, and fuel controller project. But for now, this is how to install the Graves Smog block-off plates on our 2014 STG Yamaha FZ-09 project.